Hey there, future fellow weirdo of the flock! Welcome to the most offensive church this side of the universe, the Porchy Pig! Welcome! Haha! And what we do here in this most amazing place. Wait, is we read this great ass book. It's called God Said. Because he did not fucking say that. This is God's unofficial biography, Das Bible, as read by yours truly,
The Saint of Awesome, your Superstone Sage, Saint Nikki K the Great, haha, and I am wonderful. Clap for me, I clap for you. Whoa. We all look like seals. Yeah. So, welcome. Hold on, something's happening. Hey, cousin. So, listen, things happen. I live streamed with my mom earlier and we had a great time. Yeah. But I want to let you know Jesus is driving the spaceship through the universe this evening. And we are rolling in, flying in to the story of David as it is told in 2nd Samuel. Yeah. So, it's going to be so much fun. I was totally in the wrong book. That was my bad. Okay. We are on Samuel 3. Man, that's amazing. We are on Samuel 3. So, let's get things. Well, actually, we're going to get things popping. Yeah. Because big things popping, little things dropping. What is happening? What just happened? I literally don't know what just happened. Okay. What am I? Okay. I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. Now I know what happened. Okay. Now I know what happened. Okay. So, now we can see Jesus driving our spaceship. Yep. And my cousin. Okay. So, now we are going to right here. We are flying through the universe with Jesus. There we go. Now, we are jumping in. Well, diving in. Skydiving in to the story of David. We're on 2nd Samuel. Oh, maybe I should uh change this a little bit. Well, I guess it's not really gonna matter, but whatever. It'll matter for right now. Okay. Update all. Okay. That didn't help anything. but I figured it would waste some time, so why not? Um, sorry, I'm so high. I'm so high. Yeah, I never wanna come back down. Yeah, that is what's happening right now. Yeah, that is a thing happening. But we're getting into the story. Okay. Now, there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, but David grew stronger and stronger. Hey, Neil, you were here with my mom earlier. How did you like that? That's Neil, right? Because I can't see good. It is. Yeah. Y- Uh, Neil, you were in here with my mom earlier. How did you like that? Okay. So, the house of David grew stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. Now, at this point, I forgot to even tell you where we are in this story. Okay, so Saul and his sons died at Malchoboa, and the Philistines found they were dead and hung their bodies on a wall. And these other people came and took the bodies off the wall and burned them and buried them. So that is a thing that happened. And then David became king of Judah. And then Mephibosheth, Saul's 40-year-old son, became king of Israel. So now they're like split. Judah has its king and Israel has its king. They're no longer two people. So, um now um oh yeah, yeah. There was I don't know, I guess like the two generals were going to sit down and have a conversation together. Their names are Abner and Joab. Abner is an Israelite, Joab is Judah. Udin, whatever, he's Das Udin. And they're like, hey, let's have the men fight or something. Nobody's gonna die. But anyways, David's men killed Joab's men killed Abner's. And then like Abner jetted and then Joab's brother chased after him and he was like, dude, don't cheat. Don't chase after me because I'll kill you and your brother will be so mad. But the dude wouldn't let up, so Abner killed him. And then Joab was really mad. So Joab chased Abner until they came to this thing, and Abner was like, do we really got to kill each other anymore? That's stupid. And Joab's like, yeah, you're right. This is stupid. And then he went back home. And then, um, yeah, that's where we left off. Yep. So now we're on chapter 3. Now, there was a long war between the house of Saul and the house of David, but David grew stronger and stronger, and the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. Uh, Sons were born to David and Hebron. His firstborn was Amnon. His second was Chileab. The third was Absalom. and his grandfather is a king. The fourth was Adijah. Oh, Adonijah. Duh, I'm an idiot. The fifth was Shephatiah. The sixth, Ithream. These were born to him in Hebron. Yeah. Now, it was so, while there was a war between the house of Saul and David, that Abner was strengthening his hold on the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine whose name was Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah. So this little motherfucker, okay. So he tells Abner, I think you're banging my dad's hoe. And Abner's like, what'd you say? And Ishishobeth's like, I think you're banging my dad's hoe, and I think that's kind of gross. And Abner was like, you indignant asshole. Let me tell you about yourself real quick. Okay, okay. Today, I show loyalty to the house of Saul, your father, to his brothers, his friends, and have not delivered you into the hand of David. Yeah, that is a thing that happened, and it is real life. And you charge me today with a fault concerning this woman. May God do so to Abner and more. If I do not do for David as the Lord has sworn to him, to transfer the kingdom from Saul and set up the throne of David forever over Israel and Judah, from Dan to Beersheba. And Ishishobeth didn't have anything to say because he was like, ooh, what did I do? I did something. Then Abner sent messengers on his behalf to David, saying, whose is the land? Saying also, make your covenant with me, and indeed my hand will be with you, and bring all Israel to you. And David said, good, I will make a covenant with you, but one thing I require of you. You shall not see my face unless you bring my first wife. So he wants to steal his first wife back, even though, like, he doesn't even need her. But he's bringing his first wife back, I guess, to prove some kind of sick ass loyalty. I'm not exactly sure why David would be like, yeah, bring my ex over here. It'll be so cool if you brought my ex. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't bring my ex over to me because you want to show fealty and whatnot. but okay. So David sent messengers to Ishishobeth, Saul's son, saying, "Give me my wife, whom I betrothed to myself, for 100 Philistine peckers." And Ishishobeth sent and took her from her husband. Then her husband went along with her, crying and weeping, and he was just so distraught because his wife is being taken away because David, you know. And then Abner was like, "Look, dude, I know, but you could find another one and it would probably be a lot better because isn't this one old? Trade her in for a new model." Yeah, it'll be totally okay because words and things. So just be nice and get out of here before I kill you because you're aggravating the piss out of me. Thank you. Now, Abner had communicated with the elders of these terrible ass people, saying, "In the past, you were seeking for David to be your king. Now, then do it, for the Lord has spoken to David, saying, you're going to be king, dude." Right? And Abner also spoke in the hearing of Benjamin. Then Abner also went to speak in the hearing of David in Hebron. All that seemed good, and the whole house of Benjamin. So Abner and 20 men with him came to David at Hebron, and David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. Then Abner said to David, "Okay, I'm going to go do this thing that you asked of me, and it will be great." Yeah. And, we'll go, we'll, we'll go over here and make this paper and officially make you king. I'll see you at the celebration. Right. And then Joab came. And remember, Abner killed Joab's brother. So Joab came, and then they were like, "Yo, Abner was just here. He's about to make David king. It's going to be so cool." But Abner still had, being grievous or something, decided to send messengers to call Abner back that David wanted him. So that's a thing that happened. And Abner came back. And then Joab met him at the gate and killed him right there. The Old Testament is awesome to read. It is a wild. Yeah. And David, this is my fucking favorite. And that's the same thing I said. God has a fucking bomb ass personality in David. And David is a fucking heartthrob. He looks just like Jason Statham, but with a fro. And he's so beautiful. And this is such a great story. And I'm so glad you like this book as much as I do. I love the Old Testament. It's my favorite fucking book, and I read it for fun. And my mom gets mad at me because why would you read the Old Testament? You need to learn it for knowledge. It's like, yeah, but how are you going to get the knowledge if you don't actually read it? If you look for something that's not there, you're not actually reading the book. But but we're just gonna keep going. I'm sorry for my side comment, but I was so happy about this. About this comment. Okay. So yeah. So uh Joab, and they told Joab, and Joab met Abner and was like, you killed my brother, and then killed him right there. And then somebody told David. And then David was pissed off because he's trying to be king, right? So he's like, the fuck do you do that for? Right? And this is what he said. He said to Joab and to all the people who were with him, tear, get naked, do the get naked thing, right? Rip your clothes off because a really good guy died today. You know, he's killed for war in the time of peace. It's bullshit. Okay. So tear your clothes. Gird your, yeah, wear the t-shirt diaper thing and mourn for Abner. And King David followed the coffin, and they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the grave of Abner, and all the people wept. Because remember, David is like Instagram famous. Well, he's almost Instagram famous at this point. So whatever David is feeling, everybody's feeling because he's on Instagram. Like, I'm so sad right now, so you have to be sad. I'm like ancient Insta influencer. Yeah. And you'll see this all throughout here. The people always mimic David because he's like major Insta influencer. And on ancient radio in places they should never know songs about David. They know songs about David because it plays on ancient radio. So they got FM back there, they got Instagram. We're doing it all up 10 times awesome right here. Yep. Hold on. Abner died. What? Hold on. I don't remember where I am. Okay. Okay. Then David said, oh, yeah, and mourned for Abner. So they buried him in Hebron. And David cried, and everybody else was really sad because David was really sad. And uh, and the king sang a lament over Abner and said, should Abner die as a fool dies, your hands were not bound, nor your feet put into fetters. As a man falls before the wicked, so you fell. Then all the people wept over him. And when all the people came to persuade David to eat food while it was still day, David took an oath, saying, God do so to me and more if I eat bread or anything till the sun goes down. See, so everybody's so worried about how David feels. Like, David is like the original influencer. Yep. He's the original Insta star. Okay. So now all the people took note of it, and it pleased them. Since whatever the king did pleased all the people. See, ancient influencer. For all the people and all of Israel understood that day it had that day that hold on. For all the people and all Israel understood that day it had not been in the king's intent. What? I don't know what the fuck that means. For other people, oh, they all understood that David didn't kill Abner. Then the king said to his servants, do you not know that a prince and a great man has fallen today? Honestly, I try, cousin. I try. Ancient Insta Wizard. Absolutely. He was real good at influencing people. Okay. So, a prince and great man had fallen this day, and I am weak today, though anointed king. And these men, the sons of Zariah, so Joab and his brother, are too harsh for me. The Lord shall repay the evildoer according to his wickedness. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 3. So, what are we thinking? God handled business back then, personally, back then. Yeah, God, look, God beats it's a very codependent relationship. The only non codependent relationship God has had so far is just David. But the rest of it's been very codependent and abusive. like, uh, yeah. But they punch God first. They always punch God first. And then God empties his Tommy gun of fury. And then they get real upset and say sorry. It is a thing. Yep. But we are in between chapters right now. So we're gonna roll a cigarette real quick and maybe talk about whatever you guys want to talk about for a second. It don't matter. But is your name Bot7? Bot7. Am I reading that right? Going to bed. Good night, Neil. I love you so much. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on the music. I always forget to do that, and I don't know why, because I set the stream up like 45 minutes before I started. I don't know. I'm scatterbrained. Okay, that sounds terrible. Okay. So, we're going on to chapter 4. Is that music really loud? Like how prophets poured oil on the selected new. Yes, spots of it. God picks the strangest fucking people, like people with mass brain injuries, to read the most complicated book on the planet and read it in American. It's a good time, really. The music's not really loud. Good. Okay. So we are on chapter 4. Then, when Saul's son, Ishishobek, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost heart, and all these terrible ass people were troubled. Now, Saul's son had 2 men who were captains of his troops. The name of one was Baana, and the other was Rechab. Okay. Jonathan, Saul's son, had a son who was lame in his feet. So anyway, Jonathan had a son who was lame in his feet. He was 5 years old when the news about Saul and Jonathan came, and his nurse took him and fled. And it happened as she made haste that he fell and became lame. So he probably just broke his ankles, and nobody was like, dude, you'll be fine, and just walk it off. Instead, they let his muscles atrophy, so he really couldn't use his feet. Doctoring was terrible back then. And his name was Mephibosheth. Then Rechab and Baana set out and came at about the heat of the day into the house of Ishishobet, who was lying on his bed at noon. And they came there all the way into the house as though to get wheat, and they stabbed him in the stomach. Then they escaped, for they went and came to the house where he was lying on his bed, and they killed him and beheaded him and took his head where they took his head and were all night escaping through the plain. And they brought the head to David at Hebron and said, "Here is the head of Ishishobeth, your enemy, who sought your life, and the Lord has avenged the king this day of Saul and his descendants." Dun, dun, dun. But David said, "There was one time when this guy brought me the crown. Yeah, but then he said he killed Saul. So I killed him. So what more should I do to you, who's going around killing the God's people?" How much more? "Therefore, shall I not require his blood of your hand and remove you from the earth?" And David commanded his young men that he execute them, cut off their hands and feet, and hang them by the pool in Hebron. But they took the head of Ishishobeth and buried it in the tomb of Abner in Hebron. And that's the end of chapter 4. So, Bot 7, what do you think? Cousin, if you have a thought, what's your thought? But Bot 7, you're laying down some stuff right there on the pilled chat. So what do you think about what we just read? I mean, let's try to keep it to what we just read if we can. It's very hard, I know, because I have also a hard time of like foreshadowing, because I love this story. And the prophets back then were gangster. Like, we're gonna read about how Ahab, like this prophet, like Ahab's like, "If I die," and the prophet's like, "When do you die, bitch? What the fuck you mean if you die? No, you're gonna die, definitely gonna die." Not no. Oh, well, go handle that, cousin. I'll talk to you later. Wow, we're only at a half hour. Okay, so let's get on to chapter 5. Okay. Then Saul. No, I'm sorry. It's not Saul. Then all the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and spoke, saying, "Indeed, we are bone and your flesh." Kinda. Also, in times past, when Saul was king, you were the one who led us out and brought us in And then the Lord said to you, you shall be a shepherd of... wait. Ooh.
Hi, it's me, God and God Voice. Hi, I like to meet new people. Hi, Bot 7. I'm God and God Voice, and I'm about to say things to David. Isn't he so awesome? I love David. Oh, he's my favorite. And he's so cute. I just want to pinch his fat cheeks. Yeah, it's a good time. Anyway, I'm about to say stuff. You shall shepherd my people and be ruler over these terrible ass people.
Therefore, all the elders came to the king at Hebron, and David made a covenant with them before the Lord, and they anointed David king over them. David was 30 years old when he began, and he reigned 40 years in Hebron. So, he reigned 40 years over Judah. No. Hold on. He reigned 40 years. Hold on. He was 30 and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jewland, he reigned 33 years over all Israel and Judah. Yeah. Hold on, I can't read that. I thought you were leaving. You are the mad preacher for a reason. Yeah. Okay. And the king and his men went to Jewland against the Jebusites and the inhabitants of the land, who spoke to David, saying, no, you're not gonna come here. Wait. They went to Jewland against the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, who told David, no, you can't come in here. But the blind and the lame will repel you, thinking David cannot come. Nevertheless, David took the stronghold of Zion. That is the city of David. Well, that's where Zion is, you fucking assholes. You just buy a fucking plane ticket there. Yeah. On the road to Zion, yeah. Yeah. Go to fucking Zion and see how they like that Zionist bullshit. Just fucking buy a plane ticket there. Now, David said on that day, whoever climbs up by the way of the water shaft and defeats the Jebusites, the lame and the blind, who are hated by David's soul. Why, though? Because the lame and the blind and the downtrodden were the first people with David. But these people did use the lame and the blind as a shield for some reason. So maybe David just hated them because of that. And it was only these ones and not the ones with him. I don't know. He shall be chief and captain. Therefore, they say, the blind and the lame shall not come into the house. Then David dwelt in the stronghold, and called it the City of David. And David built all around from the Millo forward. So David went on and became great, and the Lord was with him. Then Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, along with cedar trees, carpenters, masons, and they built David a house. So David knew the Lord had established him king, and that he had exalted his kingdom for the sake of these terrible ass people. And David took more concubines and wives from Jewland after he had come from Hebron. Also, more sons and daughters were born to him. Shemamua, Shoab, Nathan, Solomon, Ebhar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Elada, and Eliphelet. Now, when the Philistines heard they anointed David king, all the Philistines went up to search for David. And David heard of it and went down to the stronghold. The Philistines also went and deployed themselves in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, saying, "What do you think, big guy? What do you think?" And the Lord said to David,
David! Ah, David. Yeah. We're gonna go fight. Oh, we're gonna fight. It's gonna be so much fun. I like winning. Winning is like my favorite. Man, it's gonna be so fun to win. David, we're gonna win. Yeah, because we're so awesome. Yeah, we're gonna win. It's gonna be so fun. Yep. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. Yay, I love life.
I love winning. Okay. So David went to Baal Perazim, and David defeated them there. And he said, "The Lord has broken through my enemies like a breakthrough of water." Therefore, he called the name of that place Baal Perazim. It was already named that, but okay. And they left their images here, and David and his men carried them away. Then the Philistines went up once again and deployed themselves in the valley of Rephaim. Therefore, David inquired of the Lord, and he said, what do you think?
No. I got a better idea. Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. And I'm gonna win because it's the best idea ever. Look, you have no idea. It's the best idea ever. Yeah. Duh. Oh my God. Because I'm so smart. Yeah, I'm smart. I know things. Yeah. Look, here's what we're gonna do. Wait, I'm reading things. I'm gonna tell you what Pinterest said. Okay. Circle around behind them and come up on them in the front of the mulberry trees. And it shall be, when you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the trees, then you advance quickly, really fast, for that the Lord will go out before you, strike the camp of the Philistines.
So David was all about that and was like, fuckity fuck, yes, dude. So David did that and drove back the Philistines from Geba as far as Gezer. And that's the end of that chapter. What crazy is that? God did that all for yeah, he made that promise in haste. I don't know. I read that he was so hasty. He thought everybody. But instead, they ended up highly codependent. It was some shit. Yeah. So, what do you think about God and David right now? We're almost at an hour. Okay. Maybe I should. I don't know. But I do know we're almost at an hour. So we can have a conversation or we can go ahead and end it now. But I would prefer to have a conversation because people could conversate. David has a past to conquer. Yeah, because God wants to win. He hasn't fought in so long for fun. And now he's fighting for fun because he has somebody that can do stuff with him. You know, that has just as much fun as he does. Because David has as much fun as God does. He sure does. Because David is just a beast of a man. He looks like Jason Statham, but he's built like Brock Lesnar. Yeah. In my mind, that's what he looks like. Because Joshua looks like Russell Crowe from The Gladiator. Yep, just like that. Beautiful, beautiful man. But David looks like Jason Statham built like Brock Lesnar. Yep, that's David. But I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Like, what do you think about God's personality? Like, oh, like you haven't been here for my whole reading of like Exodus and Genesis and things like that. But this last time I quit reading it because I was trying to read the Ethiopian Bible. But then the Ethiopian Bible is a fucking fantasy novel. And it was real hard to get through. And then, like, reading the Ethiopian Bible and trying to, I don't know, but I had to quit reading the beginning of the Old Testament and go to the story of David, something I know that I won't get real confused about because of the Ethiopian Bible. Yeah, God's personality, especially in Exodus. He's on Pinterest just finding cool shit and making these people build this cool shit. And he's trying to get rid of everything God the first. because God the first was put in a box, for like a long ass fucking time. And God the second, the God of the Old Testament, is fucking wild. He tried to get rid of everything God the first. And then God the third, Jesus, he doesn't get rid of anything God the second. He actually tries to bring over the actual God rules, the 10 Commandments, which are God's actual rules. Love God, don't be a dick, and don't murder people. Kind of God's rules. And Jesus tried to teach them. Even though other God people will tell you, that wasn't the point of Jesus. Yes, the fuck it was. He taught you how to be kind, how to be an asshole, and how to follow the 10 Commandments by not fucking bothering anyone. And taking care of the people who are closest to you. But everybody gets that mixed up with Jesus would wash the feet of any fucking person, which is not true. He did that to his closest associates. People he considered friends, even though they all turned their back on him when he needed them most. But whatever. Oh yeah, I remember that. That happened in Exodus because these people were being fucking funny. And God was like, oh yeah, take this, motherfuckers. Swallowed up them and their whole families, everything. Yep, they all died. It was the whole thing. Yeah. I know my Old Testament mostly because I've read this book so many fucking times. Because it's my job to read this book. And I've been doing it for 8 years. Did you know that? I've been reading this book for 8 years and only got through it one time. Oh yeah, God's suitcase chair. No being nosy, motherfuckers. But the only thing in it were God's special rocks. Which is the 10 Commandments. It's God's special rocks. And God's suitcase chair. And he would sit on the seat and put in the drawer his special rocks. And then, sit on them and protect them. Yeah, that was a thing. And then on God's suitcase chair, he didn't even have a pillow. I can't believe he didn't put a pillow on that chair. It was like gold and really hard. Yeah, it's like you should have put a pillow on that. But no, he made it like a lounge seat, kind of. He could sit on it with his foot up and just judge people that way. I don't know. Yeah. But, you know what? Okay. So, we are at an hour. So, are we ready to say goodnight? I don't know how many people are here. I don't know how many people are on YouTube or anything. But are we ready to say goodnight? What time is it? I've read the Bible 2 times in my life. First time was to read it. Second time was to learn. Thank you. I appreciate you. And that is totally wonderful. Thank you so much. And I hope you come back. At 10:30, I do Psalms and Proverbs. At 2 o'clock, I do the story of Jesus. And at 10 o'clock, I do the Old Testament. And on Saturdays at 1:30, 2 o'clock, I live stream with my mom, which is always fun because we interrupt each other and argue about everything. So it's great. So I hope you come back. I love you. Good night, cousin. I also love you. And I hope that you give the pillows some head, put some lipstick on, put a ring on it, get all over your face, and then give your bed sheets the best ass ever. Yes, and give your sheets the best ass ever, and have the sweetest dreams on the planet. I love you guys so much. Good night.